So a sighted person almost killed me the other day. It was about 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night. I was in Santa Monica, just finishing up some shopping, some eating. Towards the end of the night, I decided to request an Uber to get back home. And as I was going to find my Uber, they couldn't pick me up at where I was located because of construction. We did, however, connect, and he was across the street. So he yelled out of his window saying, "Hey, are you James?" And I'm just like, yeah. It wasn't time to cross yet, and I had to cross the street in order to get to him. This is a pretty large and busy intersection. Being legally blind, I had my cane, couldn't see anything at night really, so I was just listening to the flow of traffic. Now, because I want to know exactly where I am on the curb, I used my cane to sort of feel the edge of the curb and know where the road was, so I knew my distance. This stranger comes up to me and grabs my arm, assuming that I was just ready to cross, that I wasn't gonna wait for the traffic light. So he grabs my arm and actually pulls me into traffic. Now he's paying attention, sure, to the cars that are coming and going, but the fact that he's walking in the middle of traffic, pulling me without my consent, just to get me to this Uber who could have waited for me when it was time to cross. I really couldn't see what was going on. All I know is there were cars honking and this guy just aggressively pushing me into the direction he thought, you know, I wanted to go. Gets me into my Uber, and that was that. Because of his aggression, I honestly didn't know what was going on. This could have been a guy who was trying to mug or try to kidnap me, and I didn't know he was gonna actually take me to my Uber. What if he was taking me to another car, to a whole other vehicle? I was in sort of this vulnerable position where it was nighttime, I couldn't really see, and I knew I needed to get somewhere, but someone pushed me into a very dangerous situation. Intentions may have been good, but execution was poor. Now, I don't want this story to discourage you from being willing to help someone who is blind or visually impaired out in the streets. Let's go over some proper behavior and etiquette when in this situation. First off, use your words. Don't just grab someone and put someone in a very uncomfortable situation. My first intention would be that you're trying to do harm, and that might prompt me to pull out pepper spray or even a taser. For your own safety and for the safety of the person that you're trying to help, simply just use your words. Try to get their attention by asking, "Hey, do you need help? Do you know where you're at?" Something like that. Number two, don't grab. Even with consent, typically a blind person is gonna grab onto your elbow or your arm. That's what we call a sighted guide. And don't worry, we can feel when you're changing your direction or elevation when you're going upstairs or down. Those aren't necessarily something we need to announce every time. Number three, observe before you approach. Just because a person might be blind or visually impaired does not mean that they're helpless. Give it a moment to see if they are familiar with where they're at. If it seems like they might be lost or a little bit confused, then that might be the time to approach and ask. Oftentimes we won't hesitate to ask for help. And when we do ask, we might just say, "Where am I at right now?" Something that does bother me though is when I am asking, "Hey, excuse me," or "Hey, could you tell me where I'm at right now?" And people don't want to respond. They just don't want to get involved. They don't know how to interact with someone who's blind. Just be willing to answer, and if you don't have an answer, maybe ask someone who might be nearby or check your phone. The thing that bothers me is when sighted people are unwilling to respond. You know, I might ask like, "Hey, excuse me," or "Could you let me know where I'm at?" But because they just see a blind person, they are unwilling to answer, or they don't want to get involved or interact. They just don't know how to treat a person as a person just because they might appear a little bit different. I hope this video has helped you understand what to do in a scenario if you find yourself needing to provide help, or maybe you need to ask for help. Let me know in the comments down below about a time when you needed help or you needed to give someone help. I'm curious, so leave a comment down below. Special thanks to my friend Elijah Pizik for animating this video. Be sure to check out his channels and his storytime animations down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to check out the video that's generated just for you on screen. And if you want to support me and what I do, check out my Patreon down below. Thank you guys, and I will hear you next time. Bye.